Hi, Linda Sessions here, and in this video we're going to talk about the school fundraiser, the word final project in CED 115. Now for this assignment you need to make sure that you are not using the web version of Word. It does not have all of the options available to you to complete this assignment. So you need to go to the computer lab at one of our campus locations or at the public libraries, or borrow a computer PC from a friend, but you need to use the version of Microsoft Office that you download to your desktop. The web version of the program will not work for this assignment. On the screen here you see a starter file. I've already downloaded this from the class, and it's for the Panthers Booster Club. Now the objective of this assignment is for you to show what you've learned utilizing Word to create a document. You have been selected to head up your school fundraiser. Now, when I was in high school, I went to Derby High School, and we were the Panthers, and so that's why I chose the Panthers Booster Club. Part of your responsibility in completing this assignment is to present a fundraising idea to your school alumni and community. So we are going to perform some steps in Word to kick off an event for our school. In step 1, you need to download the starter file. I've already done that here. Sometimes you might have that enable editing box across the top. You just need to select that to enable editing to the document, otherwise you can't make any changes. In step 2, you need to save the document with your last name .word final. For example, if I needed to save this, I would save it as sessions.word final. If I was Walt Disney, I would save it as disney.word final. Whatever your given last name is on the class roster is what you need to save this file as. So that given last name followed by .word final is what you're going to name this file, and you need to save it in that folder that you created clear back in week 1 for CED 115. That way, if you need to stop and save this file and come back later to work on it, you will still be able to find it so you can finish it and so you can submit it on time. Now in step 3, we need to apply the no spacing style to the entire document. So the first thing that we need to do is select the entire document. Now there's many ways that we can do this. You can actually bring your insertion point and click up here in front of the P, and then click with your left mouse key and drag all the way down. Or you can also, on your keyboard, select the Control A. That's the keyboard shortcut to select everything in your document. Control plus A selects everything. So once you have everything selected, now we're going to come up here in our Styles button and we're going to select no spacing, and it is going to take the spacing out of our entire document. Number 4, we're going to change the font size of our document to 14 point. Now again, we have to make sure we have everything selected. So we still have everything selected here. So now we're going to come up here to our font size and we're going to change this font to 14. In step 5, we want to insert a blank line after cells campaign 2025. So right here we have our paragraph or our line, Sales Campaign 2025. To insert a blank line, we're just going to input our insertion point after that 5 at the end of that line, and we're going to hit the Enter key to insert a blank line. Now the margins of our document, that refers to the white space around the edge of our document, and usually by default that's 1 inch around the entire document. Now we want our margins on our document to be 1/2 inch or 0.5. So to do that, we're going to come up here to the Layout tab, and clear over here on the left we have Margins, and this is where we can change the margins for our document. So we're going to select Margins, and 0.5 is narrow. You can see we have lots of different ones that we can choose from. You can even come down here and create custom margins if you want to. We want the 0.5, which is narrow, so we're just going to select this one right here, and you can see already how that changes our document look. For step 7, we want to turn on the first line indent on the 2 paragraphs in our document. Now, for this assignment, the paragraphs, it's talking about these 2 paragraphs in our body of our document. So we're going to select these 2 paragraphs. We want the first line indent, which means we want the paragraphs to indent the very first line by 0.5. So we can do that automatically up here on our layout page. Right here we could do it. We could do left on the paragraph, and we could change that and indent and change that. Or you could also come up here to the Home tab, select this paragraph, the Paragraph Settings button right here, and right here is where we have our indentation. Now this is the easiest way to do it if you want to make sure that it's the correct size. So we've got our indentation here, we've got special. We're going to click on this arrow right here, and we see we have our first line and we have our hanging. Now the difference is our hanging indent is when all of our text, our first line is lined up with the margin and everything else is indented. And the first line is when our first line is indented and everything else is lined up with the margin. So we want to select the first line indent and OK, and it's going to make both of those paragraphs first line indented. Step 8, we want to add a line at the top of the document and put a center aligned title that says Support Your School in 28-point font. You may opt to insert word art here and size as needed. That's your choice. You just need to remember that this needs to fit on one page. So I'm going to come up here and put my insertion point in front of that P. I'm going to hit my Enter key to insert a blank line at the top of my document. I'm going to move my insertion point to that top line. I want it to be center aligned, so here in my paragraph, I'm center aligning it, and I want this to say Support Your School. And I'm going to highlight this. I want it to be 28 point. And then I want to use word art here, or I want to make it look a little change. So I'm going to come up here to my text effects, and I'm just going to choose one of these and just make it stand out a little bit. Now above the title line, I want to insert a picture of a panther. So again, I'm going to hit the Enter key, and I'm going to put a line up here. Now you'll notice that this line again, it's a 28-point line because that's how big my font was here. So I might need to go back and change the size of my picture here if I need to resize my document to fit on one page. So I'm going to come up here to Insert. I'm going to go to Pictures, Online Pictures, and I'm going to search for Panther logo. And I like this panther right here. Let's say Insert. And it's going to be huge. And so I'm going to change this height to 1.5. I need to change the width to 1.5. And as you can see, this photo by an unknown author is licensed under Creative Commons. Now, Creative Commons means that you can share it and you can use it. We're using this at school. We're not using this to make any money. So it's perfectly legal for us to use this picture. So we can now select that text box within this picture. We can click on the edge of it and we can delete it. So now all we have is our logo. And since that is a Creative Commons picture, we're using this for our school project for this particular class. This is okay, since it's a Creative Commons picture. Now we also want to, resize our picture to around 1.5 to 2 inches. And then we want to format it with the simple frame black. So right up here in our picture styles, right here is simple frame black. And so we're going to leave it right here at this size. Now we might, as I said, have to go back and change it if we need to adjust this to fit one page. We'll have to see if we have to go back and do that. So on number 10, below the title line, so our Support Our School, we're going to insert 2 lines, and you can see they're both 28. And we want to put in the words Home of the Panthers, and we want to center them. And we want this Home of the Panthers to be right below Support Your School here. Home of the Panthers. And we want to make sure it's centered. We want to change the font size to 20, so I need to select it, change that font size to 20. And I want to change the font to Rockwell Extra Bold. So I'm going to find that here. And then I'm going to italicize that font. Now down here, on number 12, we're going to insert a blank line after the first paragraph here. And we are going to insert a table. Now we did a little bit with tables, but not a whole lot. They're very simple to do in Word. We're going to type in the text. Let me see, I think we need to type that text in. Let me look here at something. Yeah. School items for sale. And then hit the Enter key. And then we're going to hit Insert, and we're going to go to Table. And we need a table that is 4 columns wide and 5 columns, or 5 rows. So 4 by 5 table. And then we are going to type in the information that you see listed in your instructions. Once you have the information entered from your instruction sheet, you're going to auto-fit table to fit the contents. So to do that, you're going to come up to the table, you're going to click in the table, and when you do that, you're going to see this little square up in the left-hand corner. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to select that entire table. Now you can see up here on our ribbon, we now have the table design and the table layout tabs. So I'm going to choose the layout tab, and right here I have auto fit, and we want to auto fit the table to fit the contents. And what that's going to do is it's going to just change the column sizes automatically to fit the information that's in the columns. Now we're going to apply the list table 3 accent 3 table style. So we're going to come now to the table design, and right here, we have different table styles. So I'm going to click on this little arrow right here, and we have all these different tables we can choose from, and we're going to come down here to the list area, and we want the list table 3 accent 3 table style. So we're going to select that, and now we want to center the table between the margins. So I'm going to come up here to my Home tab, and I'm going to hit the center key, and it's going to center my table. And now I want to come up to this title, the school items for sale, and I want to highlight that text. I'm going to bold it, and I'm going to center it. And then again, make sure the table is centered as well. So you can see when we change that table style, it changed, and we now have green and green lines, so we've got our green. So below our table, we want to insert a blank line. So back here, we already have one right here. If you don't have one, just click over here next to your table and hit enter. I've got a blank line right there. Now I want to enter a list, and I want to bullet the list using star bullets. And that information is in your instructions. So you're going to enter a bullet list with 3 items. So I'm going to come up here to my bullets. I'm going to use the star bullet, and I'm going to enter those 3 items. So once we have those entered, we want to enter a blank line. So I'm going to hit enter at the end of that last bulleted item, and you can see it adds that star bullet there. I want to get rid of that, so I'm going to hit enter again to delete that bullet, because I just want a blank line with no bullet. I need to spell check the entire document, so I'm going to put my insertion point up here at the top of the document. That way it's going to start the spell check from where my insertion point is. I'm going to come up here to Review tab, and I'm going to go to Spelling and Grammar and run a spell check. So the merchandise we are selling, I need to change that And see, I'm not sure about this them. Make sure that you read through the document, as there is a word misspelled that will not be caught by the spell checker. So make sure you read through them. Okay, see if you can find that one word and see where you can find them. Anytime you see something that's underlined in blue, right click on it, and a lot of times it's just a grammar. Might say, hey, I want you to use something different. You can ignore it to get rid of it, and so make those changes as you go through there. All right, so you want to bold every occurrence of the words Panther Booster Club. So I've got Panther Booster Club here. And one way you can do that is you could actually do it with the Home tab, and you could go to the Find, and you could find Panther Booster Club. And so here's this first one, and I can highlight it and bold it, and then go to the second one and bold it. And so I've got both of them bolded. So that's an easy way to do Find if you don't want to read through the whole thing. Close this editor over here. At the end of the flyer, I want to insert a blank line. And then I want to center these 3 lines and make sure they are font size 14. For more information, let's center that and enter. The next page of my document here. And then it's your name. And don't type in your name, type in your given name as it's listed on the class roster. Alumni Support Manager. And then we're going to hit enter. And now here at the bottom, we want to insert a SmartArt, and we want it to be the Interconnected Rings SmartArt. So I'm going to come up here to Insert, and right here in the illustrations area is the SmartArt. And I am going to find the Interconnected Rings. Okay, it's actually Interconnected Rings SmartArt. And if you look under Relationship in the lower right corner, you'll find the Interconnected Rings. Now, SmartArt is just a way to present your information. We've got our interconnected rings, and it's a way to show ideas or concepts. So we're going to select that, say OK, and you'll see it puts it over on the second page, and that's okay. We're going to resize it, and it will be at the bottom of our first page. So here in the first box of text, we're going to put in Panther. It will automatically resize the text for you to fit in the SmartArt. And our second one, we're going to put Alumni. And in the third one, we're going to add Support. We're going to click off so we don't have any of the circles selected, but we have our SmartArt selected, because we want to change the color to the Transparent Gradient Range Accent 3. So right here we have our colors, and down here we have Accent 3, which is the green, and we're going to move over until we have the gradient range accent 3. And then we want it to be the inset SmartArt style. So up here under format, or no, here under styles, we're going to move our mouse over them, and you see that little box pop up that tells you what type of effect it is, and we're going to find the one that says inset SmartArt style. It makes it kind of gives it a little 3D effect. And then we want to change the height, so we're going to come here to format, and we're going to change the height to 2 inches. Okay. Now you can see it still does not fit on one page, so we need to make some adjustments. And I also need to make some other adjustments, because you can see everything is green except my Support Your School and Home of the Panthers. So I want to go ahead and make those green too. So I'm going to highlight Home of the Panthers, and I'm going to come up here to my text, my font colors, and I'm going to come down here and make that, let's do this light green. It's more of an olive green here. And I'm going to change this Support Your School to the same green. Make it bold, kind of make it stand out a little bit. Now, I don't think, one thing I can do to make this hit one page, the first thing I'm going to try is seeing if I get rid of this blank line here, if that's going to make a difference. So I'm going to hit the delete key to get rid of this line. And as you can see, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to zoom out, and you can see that made the huge difference, taking that one line out. I now have everything on one page. Looks like I do need to add another line here though. Oh, wrong place. I need to add a blank line above my bullet list. But I'm going to come up here because I need to get rid of that bullet list.
Someone was detected at your room.
So I'm going to come up here and say none to get rid of that bulleted list there. And as you can see, I still have this on the second page. So I need to make some adjustments. So you can do what you need to do to make adjustments. Like I said, we got rid of that one line here, or I got rid of that line. But when I added that line to make these come apart, kind of made some differences here. What I'm going to try is I'm going to try to make this panther a little bit smaller, and there. I've made my document on one page. So make sure you have the basics in there. Like, it's okay if you need to get rid of that blank line after Home of the Panthers to make sure that fits on one page. That's completely fine. I went ahead and added this blank line in before the bullet points because that just makes more sense. It makes it look better for the reader. The last thing we need to do before we turn this in, though, is to add an olive green accent 3 darker 50% solid line page border. So I'm going to come up here to the Design tab and clear over here on the right is Page Borders. I'm going to select the box. I want the solid line. I want the color to be the olive green accent 3 darker 50%. And I want it to be a 1/2 inch. I want it to be on the whole document. I'm going to say OK. And there is what my final document should look like. Again, if you need to save this and work on this and submit it, you can save it, go back to it, work on it. Just make sure that you have it submitted and turned in by the due date. So have some fun. If you can use a different panther picture if you want to on there. If you really don't like the green, as long as you make everything the same color, I won't count off. But hey, green, the panther colors. So
someone was detected.
Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you look and read through this document because there is another word that is spelled incorrectly. I didn't fix that on this one, but you need to fix it on yours. So try to have some fun doing this. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.